Hey, crypto family. Hope y'all been doing great. So today we're going to talk about a couple altcoins that have been outperforming the others, and then we're going to cover Bitcoin analysis and the SEC news concerning the Bitcoin ETF. So with that, let's go and get started. So looking at Bitcoin, the past couple of days, it's been stuck between that $6,600 to $6,800 level. There hasn't been much movement. Now, again, that could be seen as a positive sign, as signs of accumulation. So there's a big move coming up. But again, it's up to interpretation. And right now we're just kind of waiting to see if it breaks to the upside or downside. But I'll cover that in a couple minutes. Ethereum hasn't really been a strong performer. It's one of the weaker altcoins, I believe, and we could see some more downside with it. So again, if you're holding it, just be careful and always set your stops. Now, looking at a couple altcoins that have been outperforming others, we have IOTA up 11%. We have VeChain up 10%. We have Nano up 23%, and then we have Icon up 32%. And Zilliqa is actually a couple people I know have been looking at. Zilliqa is one to keep in mind. It's already up 7.42%. So keep in mind in this market, a lot of people are focused on Bitcoin, and I know it's easy to get stuck on it, but there's a lot of money to be made in this market, especially with these altcoins, okay? If you look at, certain patterns, similar patterns or, periods of accumulation, they're near support or resistance zones, and there's a good risk to reward ratio. Just those alone is really setting up for big movers and, things you have to look out for when doing your technical analysis. So looking at moving averages and just comparing a lot of different items, and you can really spot, which altcoins are set to pop versus the dormant ones that no one buys. So just keep that in mind, and never get stuck on one certain coin, because there's always money to be made with these other coins. It's just putting in the work to do that technical analysis, then you can spot these moves higher. Now, looking at Bitcoin, again, I mentioned it's been stuck between that $6,600 to $6,800 level the past couple of days. Now, these lines here, this first blue line is the 50-day moving average. This orange is the 128-day moving average, and then this purple is the 200-day moving average. So this is on a daily chart here, and we can see that the 128-day moving average was providing some resistance beforehand, and then once Bitcoin blew through that, it wasn't able to break over that 200-day moving average, and then we've seen it retrace both through the 128-day and 50-day, and now the 50 days providing some resistance. So again, this 50 days between 68 to 6,900. So looking at some plays, if you're thinking about longing Bitcoin, maybe try just above this 50-day moving average around 6,900 to 7,000. If you're thinking of shorting it, maybe start shorting it just below here, about 6,750 around there. So again, looking for those opportunity plays to, have your best risk to reward ratio could capitalize on those gains. But these two lines here on the bottom are the major support lines that we're looking at here. And you can see it's $6,100 and then that $5,800. So definitely something to keep in mind if you are trading Bitcoin or using Bitmex, is just keep that in mind if we're going to come back to the downside or not. But again, the next couple of days, we'll know for sure which way Bitcoin is going. Now, reviewing the SEC news. So I know a lot of people were, there's a lot of basically speculation going on about if Bitcoin, the ETF will get approved or not. Everyone knows if the ETF gets approved, that's very positive for Bitcoin, and that will be, one of the major catalysts for it to break its previous all-time high of 20,000. Now, unfortunately for Bitcoin, the chances that SEC will approve the Bitcoin ETF are slim to none right now. There wasn't much confidence going into this, and it's no surprise that they rejected the ETF. Now, one of the main reasons for the rejection is basically because the futures market is not big enough yet. There's not much backing, and it's just there's not enough size for a strong support base for an ETF. And again, also keep in mind the manipulation going on with Bitcoin right now. That was one of their big concerns, is there's so much manipulation that it's just not secure enough to warrant an ETF. Now, it's not to say, we could have an options, an option space for Bitcoin and then go to a Bitcoin ETF. I think that's definitely possible with the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. But again, just kind of jumping from a futures market to a Bitcoin ETF, in that short time frame is very unlikely right now. So now a lot of people are excited about this one part where it says they will revise the rejected ETF. But this guy here, Jake Chervinsky, a government enforcement, defense, and securities litigation attorney, recently explained in a statement that the revision of the ETFs was initiated by SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce and that it only takes a single commissioner to order a review. But he also said, don't get too excited. Under the Rule 431 of the SEC Rules of Practice, it only takes a single commissioner to order the review like this. Hester Pierce deserves credit and respect for putting up a fight, but there's no reason to think yesterday's rejections will be reversed. And it says, final thoughts on Bitcoin ETFs for the week. The SEC's primary goal is to exercise jurisdiction over crypto markets by any means necessary. Congress hasn't given them regulatory authority, so they're essentially trying to coerce ETF sponsors into surveilling the markets for them. So again, there's not really much confidence right now with a lot of support for a Bitcoin ETF by the SEC. And again, I don't think we'll see a lot of confidence for that until the end of the year. If not, the beginning of February, some people are thinking that's when we'll see, a lot more support for an ETF. So unfortunately, it's, not the best news, but again, don't get discouraged by this. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but more people are going to support Bitcoin. That's kind of a given, and it's just, it may be slower than what people are thinking right now. So, they got hyped and stuff with the rise to 20K last December. So I think now it's just kind of that cool down period. And these are the times when you just want to capitalize on these different altcoins here that you can still make a lot of money. So, try not to put all your eggs in one basket, diversify. There's a lot of money to be made in this market. So again, always keep that in mind and just never try to focus on one certain event. So, and last but not least, I just want to cover a couple guys on Twitter that I've actually been following and ones that I think you should definitely follow. One of them, his name is Crypto Fonz, and he is a great technical analysis guy. He does a lot of his research. He's always researching coins, and from what I've seen, he's been spot on with a lot of his coins. So as you see here, for a lot of his top coins here have all been up 26 to 34%. So again, give this guy a follow. He does crazy technical analysis, and his name is @CryptoFonz. In addition to him, is also a good friend of mine, Matt Pavlovsky. So it's @M_Pavlovsky. And he is definitely a Bitcoin TA guru. This guy studies Bitcoin like no one else. He's been spot on with his analysis. And again, he's been studying for a very long time. So definitely give this guy a follow. You won't regret it. And then last but not least, @DeclanSpencer5. This guy is another one that does some great technical analysis, does a lot of studying and FA as well. So give this guy a follow. He covers a lot of good topics and just brings up a lot of good points about Bitcoin and other projects. I know Storecoin is a big project he's working on as well, and he's covering, and that's another protocol that I think is going to be really, really great in the future. So give this guy a follow, and you won't regret that either. So with that, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Till next time, thanks for watching.